let me just for a minute or so, let me just tell you what I've got up my sleeve. Uh, we started doing some of the basic poses last week, and I want to continue on in that vein because there are some of you that have not done much yoga, from what I understand. Uh, and the thing is, it's good to review. It's good to just, we're going to repeat a lot of these poses. Uh, you know, they're just they're basic poses, but they're good poses. And the more you do a pose, the more you might explore the pose that you're into it, and you start to feel how you can move your feet to make the pose maybe feel a little better, or move your arms, or just find a better placement for um, for your hands, whether your hands are flexed or whether your fingers are together. So there are different words we can use. We can explore the pose, we can journey through the pose, but most of all, we can just explore our poses. So this is a nationwide class. I think that's great, but it's really good to see you all. And let me say, welcome. There are, I know, other things that you could be doing right now, but let's do some yoga. I'm glad you chose to be here. And I hope maybe right now, as we just center, just think about what would you like out of this class tonight? Do you just need to be chilled out a little bit? Do you want to work out maybe a little kink you've got somewhere? Maybe think about a word that you just want to focus on in order to be a little more centered, a little bit calmer. And we get ourselves centered and bring ourselves more and more into this virtual space, this time and this space. We do that with our breathing, as we breathe in through the nostrils and out through our nostrils. So much of what we perceive with our eyes. So if we maybe start to close our eyes, or more or less disengage our eyes from focusing on anything, that we can find ourselves a little more able to access that inner place that we might not otherwise be able to access. So if you have been one of those that has been really curtailing going places and doing things, and I am definitely one of those. I'm not going stir crazy, but I certainly would like to get out and go to a place and have a cold drink, have a burger, and sit down and listen to some good music. But we are here, and hopefully soon we'll be able to get back to some kind of normal way of life. But what we are guaranteed is this moment. So whether your hands are together at your heart center, or your hands are on your lap, let me just welcome each of you and let you know that I honor you for being here. So let the yoga begin. Namaste. We said that we start class with a warm-up. So come to a comfortable seated position. And I'm going to be back here, and I hope this will, okay, yeah, this will work. Now my feet are not so important as my knees and my body and arms, because I'm going to be in a comfortable seated pose, but here you can see it. So it doesn't matter which leg's out front, but you will find that you favor one leg over the other. You're not mean to the other leg. You just, for some reason, one leg goes out front, and it's usually the same one. So just sit in a nice cross-legged pose. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm sitting on a bolster, which is probably about 4 or 5 inches high. And then I've got a folded blanket on top of it. What I'm trying to do is to get my hips above my knees. I would probably have to be sitting in a chair to do that, but this elevates me a little bit anyway. So it does feel a little bit better than sitting right on the mat. But sitting on the mat is okay if that feels all right too. Main thing is to find a comfortable seat. That's actually what the word asana means. And all of the yoga poses we do in Hatha yoga, all the poses we do end in that suffix, asana. So it's just a comfortable seat. So try to make every pose comfortable tonight. Let your knees relax if you're sitting in cross-legged. If it doesn't feel good, try to change the cross of your legs by leaning back a little bit and changing the cross of your legs, which we would want to do anyway, because we want to gain symmetry where the right side and the left side are happy together because they're balanced. So let the knees relax. Try to have a natural breathing pattern where the chi, the energy in the air, spelled Qi, figure that out. But the energy in the air comes into our bodies, into our nasal passages, nice and cool, bringing in cool air. And when we let the exhale go, when we let the air out, we find it's a lot warmer. So the breathing actually has a way of cooling our bodies down. It's thought that yoga starts a fire in the belly, and it burns off impurities as we move, and that's the heat that we create as we're moving. That's the fire. So the impurities are carried out of the body with the exhalation as we reach our arms up. And we're just reaching up a little bit. You might see there's a little movement in my shoulders, reaching up one more than the other, and turn your palms out and just let them come down by your side. Now, some of us have more impurities than others. So my breathing has its work ahead of it. Turn your palms up and bring them up. Palms are facing each other. We're trying to bring our palms back to where they're actually going straight up. Turn your palms out and take them back down by the side. And inhale now as we lift up and bring our palms looking at each other. They may come together and they may not. It's okay. And as we exhale, so do this with your breath, let your arms come down by your side. One more time. Inhale up. And exhale them down by your side. First of all, we're going to lift our left arm and reach over to the right, trying to keep our body fairly vertical. So we're just bending at the shoulders and the neck and the head from the shoulders up. And we're actually letting this left side kind of go out to that side. So we're really side bending and just lengthening, stretching a little bit, but I'd rather use the word lengthening. We're curving the spine intentionally. And let's come up and go to the other side and do the same thing. So we're reaching with our head, but also pushing out on that right hip out to the side. And you can really feel that accentuate the side bend. Okay, we're going to come up, and now we're going to use our breath. Our breath is really important to connect with our movement. So take a nice inhale in and come over to the left. As we exhale, Inhale up and reaching up and exhaling over to the left. And we might want to just crank this up just a little bit. We're reaching and inhaling, really reaching up, but also rooting down with the bottom of our spine, the sacrum. And we're exhaling again as we go over to the right and reach out with our waist to the left. One more time coming up. We're going to go both sides one more time before we twist. And here we go, over to the left. And bring it back up. Let's do another cycle of that. That feels really good to me, just really getting that hip moving out to the opposite side of our bend. And I don't know if you can hear my breathing, but I'm inhaling as I'm reaching up and exhaling as I'm bending. And you can reverse that if you want to try it. And let's come up. And let your arms come down by the side. Let's change the cross of our legs. So we're rocking back on our sitting bones, and we're changing the cross of our legs. And we're reaching up. We're going to twist to the right first. Remember how we're going to twist? We're going to twist with the hips, the waist, then the torso, shoulders, neck, and head. And we'll take another breath here. And when we come back, we're going to start to inhale, bring our head, our neck, our shoulders, our torso, our hips as we reach up. And we're going to inhale here, of course, and exhale from the waist on up. Come up when you're ready to take an inhale. And go to the other side. Just get that feeling of that spring winding up and then unwinding. We'll do one more cycle, so that's one more to each side. Down by your side, extend your legs forward. And it's certainly okay to grab underneath your knees and extend your legs forward. And I'm sliding down off of my bolster there. I know you can't see me. So let me see. I want you to see my feet because I guess you can see them. Yeah, you can see them now. Be a little sideways here. I'm going to point my toes, flex my toes back towards my shin. Now I'm going to point them away from me. And again, flex them. And now while I'm flexing them, I'm going to be pushing out through the heels. And you really feel how that engages the calf, the hamstrings, basically the whole back sides of the legs. And point those toes away from you. Trying to sit nice and tall. Flex your toes back towards me. And are you finding a pattern of breathing doing this? The breathing really helps you focus in, or it can anyway. Let's inhale in as we're flexing our toes back. Some people are very stressed during this time. Some people are having trouble sleeping. The breathing will really help you sleep. Make sure you have a full exhale now, all the way down. Let all that air out. And let your feet relax and circle your feet together in one direction. And reverse those circles. Really stretch those ankles out. And let your toes come out. Heels are in. Take your heels out intentionally. Bring your toes towards each other. And bring your heels together. Let your toes go out. Now, I hope you can see this. What I'm going to do, and I want you to do it too, is turn your toes, turn your feet so your little toes are away from you and your big toes are towards you. So you've kind of got your feet like this. This is what they call supination. And you can tell whether you're supinated or pronated by looking at the heels of your shoes. You'll see how they're worn. If you walk like this, you're supinated. If you walk like this, you're pronated. We're going to pronate our feet right now. Let your feet relax a little bit and try to bring your little toes back towards you and push your big toes away from you. It's not quite as easy to do as supinating them, but you can see how that would wear the heels, like I was indicating, if you were supinated or pronated. And of course, you want to be balanced, so that's why we do the yoga that we do. All right, let your feet relax. I think we're probably warmed up a pretty good bit. Let's come to our hands and knees, all fours. And make sure you're padded up under your knees. You want to protect your knees and have your toes pointing forward. And you want to try to have your knees under your hips and your hands under your shoulders. And we want to just let our belly sag and lift our head up and look towards the ceiling. Your belly is sagging, your tail is lifting up, trying to point up towards the ceiling. You're lifting your head up and looking at the ceiling. And here's a point to where we will inhale. And then we want to bring our tail down between our legs, arch our back, arch our spine, and exhale, bringing our chin to our chest and looking between our legs. So come to your dog. Your tail is pointing away from you, and you're inhaling, and you're exhaling as you're coming into your cat tilt, and you're arched back. Inhale, and exhale. And try to do all that breathing through your nose. One more time, dog pose. And cat. And actually, the action of your hip, it's either in a dog tilt or a cat tilt. And now you know why. Now come to a neutral spine. And we have a pose we call bird dog. So bird dog actually involves pushing one leg out and flexing the toes. So you're bringing the toes towards the shins. So my right leg is out and left arm is forward, fingers together or apart. If they're apart, we want to make sure they're really spread out and activating muscles in the hands and the fingers. And some call this table, we call it bird dog. So this is a nice core exercise, and you don't want to lift up. You want to have your hips equal distance, both sides to the mat. And bring it down. And let's do that on the other side. So the other leg goes out, the opposite arm goes forward, whether fingers are flexed or together. And you may feel a little bit of this in your lower back. So remember, if you feel it tomorrow, later in the day or early a day and a half from now, just remember, this was yoga. You're just working some muscles. And bring them back. Now, another thing we do in this pose, and Paul knows where I'm going with this. Paul's watching. So we come to all four, and we stick out. The first leg we stuck out, and our hand goes out, and we're going to take, well, watch, we're going to rotate the ankle out, and we're going to bring that leg around to the side, and the arm around to the side. And we're just doing the best we can just to open up that hip a little bit. And then we're going to bring it back and down and do that on the other side. We're going to come to standing in just a minute. Check yourself. Just try to get a feeling of what is that foot that's in the air supposed to be doing. Toes are supposed to be flexed. What about the hand out front? Either the fingers are flexed or they're, trying to think of what the other word is. Anyway, either the fingers are spread and active or together and active, but not just relaxed. And take the hand out, take the foot out. I'm going to bump into the wall almost. And bring it back. A little bit strenuous. Okay, one of the real basic poses in yoga, and you'll find a way to do this, is bringing yourself up to downward facing dog. Now, on your way up, try to have your shins parallel to the mat, so they're horizontal. And then when you're ready, stick your butt up in the air, and with the very bottom of your spine, take that up towards the ceiling. Push back with your hands. Work on bringing your chest closer to the mat. You can have bent knees here. I'm on my tiptoes. This is downward facing dog. Keep lifting up, bringing that tail up towards the ceiling. And we do get to a point, though, where we try to straighten our legs and bring our heels towards the floor a little bit more. Our hands, while we're in downward facing dog, our hands are flat on the floor, as flat as we can get them, and I'm actually pushing the mounds, the finger mounds of my hands into the floor. So I'm trying to lift my fingers up, even though they're not coming up off the mat. I'm trying to take pressure off of them. It also takes pressure off of the wrist. Speaking of wrists, if this is an issue, you can come to your knees anytime you want to, even for just a few seconds. If your wrists are an issue, here's something you can do. You can take a folded blanket or a book or something and place your half of your hand really on the blanket, and that relieves a lot of pressure. So just let's go a couple more breaths in downward facing dog. The straighter you can get your legs, the longer your hamstrings will adapt, and miracles will happen. Because your hamstrings are very, very important in our posture and in our back health, because they are a big part of the muscular system in the core. All right, we're going to walk our feet forward. We're going to walk our hands back, and we're going to stay in this forward bend for just a breath or two. Hang out here. Look at your feet. Arrange your feet so they kind of look like they're pigeon-toed. Just a little bit, because we want the sides, the outsides of our feet to be pretty parallel with the long sides of our mat. Walk your hands up your legs and come to mountain pose. Okay, my feet are not going to be as important here. Tilt just a little bit. Maybe get a there we go. Maybe that'll work. Okay. So we're going to stand nice and tall, mountain pose. Ears are over the shoulders. And we're going to reach forward with our right foot and reach back with our left. And that back foot, we're going to turn just a little bit, maybe about 15 to 20 degrees, but the front foot, the toes are facing forward and our hips are facing forward, both hips. Think about them being headlights, equal distance, staring at the road straight ahead. And if you want to just stay here with your hands on your hips, this is fine. You want to bend that front knee a little bit more. Don't let the knee go past being over the ankle. And you might be feeling a little bit of a lengthening in the, let's see, that'd be the left hip and backside. Now we could reach our arms up in Warrior One. Okay, Warrior One. You could bring your hips forward here a little bit if you want to. That back leg is really straight and really strong, and activate it by energizing the knee. That muscle behind the knee, you want to open that up just a little bit more. So keep trying to take that knee back without hyperextending it. Warrior One. And maybe if I hold that pose, maybe if I turn myself around here, they're reminding me that I got 10 minutes left. Okay, Warrior One. Come back with your hands on your hips, straight legs, turn your toes forward, and now take your left foot out front, turn that back foot just a little bit, turn your hips, and keep adjusting yourself. If you, I don't mean adjusting yourself, but adjusting your feet. Have a nice wide stance. I'm using the full width of one mat here, and it just feels so much better because it lines up with the hips better. So we're in Warrior One, bend that front knee, back leg is as straight as you can get it, and Warrior One. We do have a number of basic poses we may not get to tonight, but we'll get to them in the future. All right, let's go to Warrior Two. Now with Warrior Two, we're going to take our arms out to the side. My body is going to be facing, obviously, you. It's facing, I was moving in Warrior One towards the short edge of my mat. Now I'm moving and looking at the long side of the mat. And this doesn't feel real good because my hips were wide. I need to move this back foot back. In time, maybe as the hips loosen up, maybe this will be a little bit better, a little bit easier to have that wide stance. But here we're like between two pieces of glass, right? And we're watching that front knee because it wants to kick in. So we want to keep pushing that back out so it's in line with that front foot. And we're looking over this left arm, middle finger we're looking over. And that arm is coming straight out of the shoulder socket. And then we're looking back to make sure that back arm is doing the same thing. And our body, not nice because we can look at the monitor at the video and we can try to get our body to be vertical. I wish I could see you because I know y'all are doing your very best on this and I'll bet they look really good. I've seen some of your warrior twos. So it's warrior two. And they call it warrior two because you got two arms out. Warrior one, where you have two arms up, they consider that one. So this is two. And we're going to come back, put our hands on our hips again. We're going to turn our toes forward and we're going to go in the other direction. So our right foot, right leg is out front. So this is a warrior stance with a bent front leg and a nice strong back leg. And we're coming into warrior two. Now you might notice I'm leaning more to one side. Got something going on my hip here, and I have for about a month now. But I think it's associated with a disc issue, but I'm good. I compensate for it. You need to listen to your body and compensate for anything that your body is telling you to quit doing or change the way you do it. Remember my front knee? It's tracking in. I've got to push it back out. But my arms are nice and horizontal. Hands are on the hips, coming back up to straight legs, bringing my toes forward, and I'm going to walk my feet forward. Now, what I'd like you to do, I would like you to go ahead and come down to the floor, whether you're on your mat or a blanket, the carpet, whatever, and lay down on your back. Our time is ticking, and I don't want to cheat anybody out of a moment, even though this is a free class. Lay down on your back. And I want you to just, if you will, close your eyes. Just close your eyes, stretch your legs out, extend them fully out in front of you, and take your arms and extend them out as well towards your feet. But your muscles and your shoulders are relaxed. Have your palms of your hands down, probably next to your hips. And let your feet relax. Let them just splay, is the word we use. Just let them splay. Let them do what they want to do and relax, relax, relax. You know, maybe if I have enough requests, we'll start doing an hour-long class. But this class is winding down and we're in our relaxation. I think the relaxation is as important as the movement that we do, as the breathing that we do. We've got to keep breathing anyway, but why not relax a little bit? So can you work on following my coaching? So just relax, starting at your feet. Let them just do what they want to do. All the way up your legs, relax your leg muscles, learning how to control these things. And you know, controlling, it's about letting go. Let go. Just let go for a couple of minutes, because that's all we've got left in this class tonight. That feeling of relaxation, if you could imagine, it comes in through the bottom of your feet. It's nice and warm, or maybe it's nice and cool, whatever feels really good to you. Maybe it's like a menthol, or maybe it's, I don't know, the smell of orange, something that's just really soothing to you. And just imagine that sensation coming up your legs and into your pelvis and into your waist, and then it works its way into the upper body, into the shoulders, and that feeling of relaxation goes out through your arms, goes out through your fingers, and goes up into your throat and your neck, and into your jaw and your chin. And into your eyeballs and your eyebrows and your forehead and your temples. Just feel how nice it feels to relax. Just take advantage of this. This is time that just will come and go so quickly. Most importantly, you're taking the time for yourself. Now, the clock says I've got less than a minute, so let me read this to you. Returning to wholeness is the natural way. Allow, allow, allow. The choice to love is the mother of everything. There are no exceptions. Some reading from the Tao. Please relax and stay there as long as you want to. Do this daily and you'll feel better. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to honor you with namaste as I see the beauty and the light and the spirit in you that also resides in me. Thanks for joining. I'll send you a link when I post this on YouTube tomorrow or the day after, maybe. Have a good night. Be safe. Take care of each other. Be nice to yourself, especially. And I hope to see you next week. Namaste.